And welcome. Today we will continue with elasticity. So what we looked at in the previous video is that we have demand and supply, and as a result of a change in demand or a change in the supply, there was a change in prices. And how sensitive are consumers or producers for that change in price? So what we also looked at is there is 4 types of elasticity. You have price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of supply, and each of those two have 5 categories: elastic, inelastic, unitary elastic, relative elastic, and relative inelastic. Then you have income elasticity of demand and cross price elasticity of demand. So today we're going to look at price elasticity of demand and price elasticity of supply. The only difference between those two is the answer you get when you do the calculations. With demand, you will get a negative answer, and with supply, you will get a positive answer. Okay, so in both cases of demand and supply, and also in some cases cross price elasticity and income elasticity, you can make use of 2 formulas. You have the point formula and the arc formula. Point formula is the change in quantity divided by change in price times price over quantity. So you refer to a specific point on the demand or the supply curve, where arc elasticity is the change in demand divided by the change in price. There it is. Change in price times the sum of your prices divided by the sum of your quantity. So that's arc formula, measuring the elasticity from one point to another. Right, so let's look at an example. So here you have a demand schedule, and I am going to make use of a little cheat table to make the calculations a little bit easier. So you have 0.1, 0.2, and then you have quantity. No, I'm lying. You have change, and then you have the sum of. So for 0.1, you have prices 10 and quantity 17. And then from 0.2, you have price 8 and quantity 19. The change there is then 8 minus 10 equals minus 2. 19 minus 17 is 2. The sum of is 10 plus 8 is 18, and 17 plus 19 is 36. So now, in order to make use of, let's say, the point formula of 0.1. So we want to refer to a specific point. So let's just look at 0.1. So the change in quantity is minus 2 divided by the change in price. The change in quantity is 2 divided by the change in price is minus 2 times the specific price and quantity of 0.1. So you have prices of 10 and quantity of 17. And then you get an answer of minus 0.59. So you would recall that with regards to your categories of your answer, there is no space for a negative answer. So you always take the absolute value when it comes to the elasticity of demand in order to get a positive answer. So now you have 0.59, which lies between 0 and 1, which is relative inelastic. So your consumers is relatively insensitive for price changes. If we look at the arc formula, we have the change in quantity divided by the change in price times the sum of your prices divided by the sum of your quantities. So again, you have 2 divided by minus 2 times the sum of your prices is 18, and the sum of your quantities is 36. And you get an answer of minus 0.5. Again, you take the absolute value to get a positive answer of 0.5. 0.5 lies between the value of 0 and 1 for relative inelastic, so your consumers is relatively insensitive for price changes. So a little bit more difficult type of question as we give you a little of a story. Again, to make it easier, make use of the table if you like. It's not compulsory, it's just to make it a little bit easier sometimes. So it says that the price of lamb increased from 120 bucks per kilo to 130 rand per kilo due to the increase in quantity demanded. Lamb chops decreased from 1,000 250 to 1027. The change is then 130 minus 120 is 10, and the sum is 250. The change here, 1027 minus 1250 is minus 223, and the sum is 1250 plus 1027 is 2277. Okay, so make use of the point formula and refer to prior to the price increase. So that's the point you are referring to. So it's the change in quantity divided by the change in price times P over Q. So the change in quantity is minus 223 divided by the change in price, which is 10. Prior to the price increase, so it's the price 120 divided by its quantity of 1250. And you get an answer of minus 2,14. So again, you take the absolute value to get a positive answer in order to put it in one of the 5 categories. In this case, then it is 2,14, which is a value greater than 1, meaning that it's relative elastic demand. So consumers is relatively sensitive for price changes. In the next video, we're going to look at more calculations.